Well, the Cowboys are 2-0 in the NFC, and then there's some surprising 0-2s, starting with Seattle.
I think Philly is a surprise. I mean, I don't think anybody thought Philly would be 0-2 at this point.
Yeah, Dallas beat them, and Dallas has won 9-0 on the road since the end of last year, and then going to Atlanta, which is 2-0.
I don't know if I necessarily expect Atlanta could very easily be 0-2.
Right.
So yeah, it's a bit unpredictable right now as far as what's going on in the NFC.
What is your feel right now on the NFC? Who do you?
I think the Packers are obviously the team to beat. They've looked the best through 2 weeks. Now it's early. There's a lot of changes over the rest of the season. I do think that Seattle is going to correct itself at some point. They're going to win more than they lose the rest of the way to me.
I still like my Cardinals pick in that NFC West, and they've got a 2-game lead right now on Seattle.
A healthy Carson Palmer for a season does wonders for the Cardinals. It does wonders for Larry Fitzgerald, as we saw today with his 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, he's not dead yet.
No, and you look at the numbers. When Carson Palmer's been playing the last few years,
they're a good team.
They're a good team, and Fitzgerald's still a very productive receiver. It's whenever Palmer's not in there, the Cardinals offense starts to struggle, and Larry Fitzgerald becomes an afterthought.
You know how they got the burst of energy? They've been good at finding these unknown speedsters.
Yeah.
They got John Brown, even though he didn't score the other day, he stretches that field. He draws interference penalties. And then David Johnson.
Yeah, David Johnson
is he's a different gear.
And then there's another receiver there, very similar to John Brown, Jerron Brown, who's also a speedster.
And he did score the other day.
He scored the other day. So.
And they have another rookie, Nelson, I believe.
Yeah.
So they keep adding speed, and Palmer's not scared to throw down the field. And so, to me, they're stretching that field vertically. And then with Johnson, David Johnson, not Chris Johnson, who looks like he's lost his depth. David Johnson's kind of like Chris Johnson was early in his career, and that he can hit that perimeter with just a little bit of space. And so I really like the Cardinals. I'm like you. I think Seattle comes back and is a playoff team. I thought they played pretty well at Green Bay.
Yeah.
Green Bay and Dallas was kind of who I was leaning toward all summer, and I picked Dallas to go to the Super Bowl before these injuries. Packers have their Jordy Nelson injury, but I think the Packers right now are in the hunt. Where this is going to hurt the Cowboys is even if they can kind of sustain and play 500 ball without Romo, it's going to be hard to have a top seed.
Yeah, no, I think a top seed's probably out of the question. They've got to be looking towards now. Not that they're not thinking this way. They're thinking, hey, we got to go out and win games, but it's going to be tough to secure that top seed. And I think a wild card spot is much more likely. But I'd say that
they could still win this division.
They could still win the division. Right now,
the only other team with the division win is Washington's 1-1 game.
And you think about Washington right now too. And right now, the most volatile or the best offensive threat in the NFC East right now is probably Washington's run game.
Yeah,
and that's hard to fathom.
Well, a healthy Jordan Reed, I've watched their 2 games, and a healthy Jordan Reed has made a difference in the middle of that field. And they just kind of seem comfortable with what they're doing. Yeah. At least they know we're going to try to run the ball. We're going to get the ball to Jordan Reed. And Garcon has come back a little bit in the absence of Deshaun Jackson. So,
well, and the 2 running backs, too. Alfred Morris and Matt Jones, the rookie there, what he's doing.
Jones is really giving them a burst.
Yeah.
And so it's way too early to tell. I think one thing we learned about week 2 was that you couldn't overreact to week 1.
No. Well, and that's always the case. And there's always those knee-jerk reactions, and they go both ways. And we're going to overreact to week 2.
In our next segment, we're going to look at this week's game with the Cowboys facing a 2-0 team.